Amora did not sleep again. Not properly. Because sleep was no longer hers. Every time she closed her eyes, something else opened. She sat beneath the thick cotton tree, knees pulled to her chest, watching the village move in slow, ritualistic patterns. No one spoke unnecessarily. No one wasted thought. They were careful. Careful in a way that made her uneasy. Because now she understood something. They weren't just avoiding speaking. They were avoiding thinking. One woman walked past carrying water. Her face was blank. Her eyes unfocused. Amora reached out slightly. Listen. Nothing. No thoughts. No noise. No inner voice. Just emptiness. That's not control, Amora whispered. That's absence. They hollow themselves, the elder said from behind her. Amora turned. What? To survive, he replied calmly. They cut away unnecessary thought. Amora's stomach twisted. That's not survival, that's sacrifice, he finished. A long silence followed. Amora swallowed hard. Is that what I have to do? The elder did not answer immediately. Instead, he stepped closer and crouched beside her. You are not like them. That's not comforting. No, he said quietly. It is not. Amora looked down at her hands. They were shaking. But not from fear. From pressure. Something inside her mind was pushing. At first, it felt like a headache. Then, it changed. Her fingers twitched. Not by her command. She froze. No. Her hand lifted slowly. On its own. Her nails pressed into her palm. Hard. Too hard. Blood welled. Stop, she gasped. But the pressure grew stronger. Her other hand joined. Digging. Clawing. As if trying to reach something beneath her skin. Make it stop. The elder grabbed her wrist. But her strength had changed. Not stronger. Wrong. Her muscles moved in sharp, unnatural jerks. Like something was learning how to use them. Her mouth opened. And a voice came out. Not hers. Too small. The elder's expression shifted instantly. Hold her. The marked woman rushed forward. They pinned her shoulders to the ground. Amora screamed. But inside her mind, something laughed. You cannot hold what is already inside. Her vision fractured. For a moment, she saw herself. From outside her body. Her face twisted. Eyes rolled back. Mouth stretched too wide. Then, she snapped back. Gasping. Still. Silent. The pressure vanished. Just like that. Amora lay there shaking. What was that? No one answered. Because they already knew. And the truth was worse than anything she could say. They prepared her at sunset. Not gently. Not cruelly. But with certainty. Amora sat in the center of a drawn circle. White chalk. Red powder. Ash. Symbols layered over symbols. Some she recognized. Most she didn't. Around her, the villagers gathered. Not watching. Participating. Each held something. A mirror. A blade. A bowl of water. A string of bones. This is not to save you, the elder said. Amora's chest tightened. It is to reduce you. I don't want that, she whispered. You don't have a choice. The silver-eyed woman stepped forward. Her presence alone made the air heavy. Your mind is too open, she said. If we do nothing, it will not remain yours. Amora clenched her fist. I can fight it. The woman smiled faintly. No. A pause. You can't. The ritual began. A drum. Slow. Deep. Like a heartbeat that did not belong to any living thing. Boom. A woman stepped forward. Placed a mirror in front of Amora. Look. Amora hesitated. Then. She did. At first. It was her face. Then. It shifted. Another face. Then another. Then dozens. Layered. Flickering. All of them. Her breath quickened. No, no, no. Do not look away, the elder warned. Boom. Another stepped forward. Cut her palm lightly. Let the blood drip into a bowl. Amora didn't react. Because her mind was breaking. The drum grew louder. Boom. 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 Voices began. Low chants. Ancient. Not meant for language. The air thickened. Amora's reflection began to smile. She wasn't smiling. I'm not doing that. We are. Her reflection's mouth opened wider. Too wide. Her real body mirrored it. Pain ripped through her jaw. Cracking. Stretching. She screamed. But the chant swallowed it. Her skin crawled. Something moved beneath it. Across her arms. Her neck. Her face. Like fingers pressing from the inside. Trying to get out. Hold her. But she was already sleeping. Her thoughts. Fragmenting. We remember. We waited. We are many. Amora. Her name felt distant. Unfamiliar. Her body arched violently. And then. Silence. Complete. The drum stopped. The chant ended. Everything stopped. Amora sat still. Eyes open. Unmoving. The elder stepped forward slowly. Amora. No response. The silver-eyed woman frowned slightly. Say something. A pause. Then. Amora spoke. But not in fear. Not in pain. Calm. Cold. We are quieter now. The villagers stepped back. Because that was not her voice. And worse. It was controlled. Amora stood. Slowly. Gracefully. Wrong. Her movements were too smooth. Too precise. Like someone had practiced being human. And finally perfected it. The elder took a step back. Amora. She tilted her head. Studying him. Not as a person. As a concept. You fear loss of self, she said. Her voice layered. Multiple tones. Slightly out of sync. But self is already a shared illusion. The marked woman raised a blade. Get out of her. Amora smiled. Softly. We are not inside her. A pause. She is inside us. The air turned cold. The keepers shifted behind them. Watching. Waiting. The silver-eyed woman stepped forward. For the first time. Concern touched her face. You are early, she said. Amora turned to her. Yes. A pause. But she was always open. The woman's bells trembled. Leave her. Amora's smile widened. No. And then. Something horrifying happened. Amora reached up. And pressed her fingers into her own face. Hard. Her skin dented. Then. Shifted. Like soft clay. The shape of her cheek changed. Then snapped back. The villagers gasped. Do you see, she whispered. This form is temporary. Her eyes flickered. Not glowing. Multiplying. For a split second, there were too many pupils, watching in different directions. "We are learning quickly." The elder raised his voice. "Enough." The ground trembled. The keepers moved forward. The tall one stepped directly in front of her. "You break balance." Amora's head tilted. "No." A pause. "We reveal it." The keeper's form stretched slightly. "If she is consumed, the bridge collapses." Amora laughed. "Soft. Terrifying. Then you should have kept your silence better." And then, she looked directly at them. At all of them. And for the first time, Amora's real voice came through. "Faint. Broken. Help me." A single tear rolled down her cheek. Then, gone. Replaced again. By something else. Something ancient. Something patient. Something that had finally found a body. That could hear everything. And would never be alone again. They tied her this time. Not with rope. With intention. White chalk lines bound her wrist to the ground. Symbols etched into her skin, not deep enough to kill, but deep enough to anchor. The villagers moved with urgency now. No hesitation. No doubt. Because whatever stood before them was no longer just a woman. Amora's body sat in the center of the circle again. But her eyes, they moved independently. One tracked the elder. One watched the tree. One watched nothing. "We are losing her," the marked woman whispered. "No," the elder said. "We already lost her." Amora's lips parted slowly. "You speak as if she was singular." Her voice echoed again. "Layered. She never was." The drum began again. But this time, faster. Boom. 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 The keepers formed a ring. Their forms stretched and shifted, becoming less human, more conceptual. Like shadows remembering shape. "Separate them," the tall keeper pressed. The elder nodded. "We forced division." Amora laughed. A sound that didn't belong to breath. "You think we can be divided?" Her chest rose sharply. Then, stopped. No breath. Still speaking. "We are not a crowd inside her." A pause. "We are the echo of everything she has ever touched." The symbols on her skin began to glow faintly. And then, her body jerked violently. Her spine arched. Too far. Too sharply. A crack. The villagers flinched. But she didn't scream. Because something else was happening. Her shadow split. Amora's body remained in the circle. But behind her, something began to peel away. A second shape. Not fully formed. Not fully separate. But visible. A silhouette made of layered movement. Faces pressing outward from it. Screaming silently. The elder shouted, "Hold the circle." The drum intensified. Boom, 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 boom. Amora's real voice broke through. "It hurts." Then, gone again. Replaced. Pain is only resistance. The shadow stretched further. Pulling away. But not cleanly. Strings. Thin, invisible threads. Still connected. Between her and it. The marked woman threw powder into the air. It ignited blue. The shadow recoiled. Screamed. Not aloud. Inside every mind present. Amora's body convulsed violently. Blood ran from her nose. Her ears. Her eyes. The elder stepped forward. And placed both hands on her head. "Amora." For a moment. Everything froze. Then, she answered. Weak. fading. I'm still here. Hope flickered. Then, the shadow lunged back into her. Violently. Her body slammed to the ground. Still. Silent. Gone again. They did not have time to recover. Because something had followed them. Not from the forest. Not from the spirits. From humans. The first sign was subtle. A thought. Not chaotic. Not broken. Focused. We found her. Amora's head snapped slightly. Even unconscious. She reacted. The elder turned sharply. Who else is here? Silence. Then, footsteps. Slow. Confident. From the edge of the village, figures emerged. Dressed in modern clothing. But marked. Symbols carved into their skin. Similar to the ritual markings. But wrong. Distorted. Behind them, others followed. Come. Too calm. Amora's eyes opened. And for the first time, fear crossed her face again. No. The man at the front smiled. Amora. His voice was smooth. Controlled. You finally did it. The elder stepped forward. You shouldn't be here. The man ignored him. His eyes locked on Amora. You opened everything. A pause. Do you understand what that means? Amora shook her head weakly. You gave us access. The air shifted. These people, he gestured to the villagers, want to close the world again. A smile. We don't. The marked woman raised her blade. You're insane. The man laughed softly. No. A pause. We are free. Behind him, one of his followers stepped forward. And then, something horrific happened. He smiled. And his face split. Not open. Shifted. Like a second expression pushed through his skin. Not a spirit. Not possession. Integration. We embraced it, the man said. We stopped fighting. Amora's breathing grew uneven. They'll consume you. He shook his head. No. A pause. We become more. The keepers moved forward. Corruption, one pressed. The man turned. No. A smile. Evolution. The tension snapped. Violently. The villagers attacked first. Not out of rage. Out of necessity. Blades clashed. Symbols burned. Chants erupted. But the newcomers, they didn't resist. They welcomed it. One of them stepped forward willingly. A young woman. Tears in her eyes. But smiling. I'm tired of hiding, she whispered. Then, she let go. Completely. Amora felt it instantly. A mind. Opening fully. Not forced. Chosen. The effect was immediate. Her body stiffened. Then, changed. Her skin shifted under itself. Not tearing. Rearranging. Her eyes multiplied. Then merged again. Her mouth opened. Too wide. Then corrected. As if something inside her was testing configurations. The villagers froze. Because this was different. This wasn't invasion. This was cooperation. The young woman spoke. But her voice was stable. Clear. We are better like this. She turned to Amora. You showed us the way. Amora shook her head weakly. No, this isn't right. The woman smiled. Right is just what you're used to. She stepped closer. And for the first time, Amora felt something worse than fear. Recognition. because the presence inside the woman felt like the one inside her, but calmer, stronger, more complete. The man spread his arms. This is the future. A pause. No lies. No loneliness. No separation. The elder shouted. No humanity. Silence fell. The young woman looked between them, then asked, "What is humanity without secrets?" No one answered. Because now, that question had teeth, and it was already feeding. The elder made the decision quickly. Too quickly. "We cut it out." The words fell like a blade. Amora looked up weakly. "You said that wouldn't save me." "It won't," he replied. A pause. "But it may stop what comes after you." Silence. Even the wind seemed to withdraw. The group that wanted the world open watched with quiet interest. Not fear. Not concern. Curiosity. The man smiled faintly. "You still think you can separate them?" The elder didn't respond. "Prepare her." Amora was lifted. Not gently. But not cruelly either. Like something already halfway gone. They carried her to the base of the sick cotton tree again. But this time, the tree reacted. Its roots shifted. Not like wood. Like muscle. The hanging bodies trembled slightly. Watching. Waiting. "This is where it ends," Amora whispered. The marked woman avoided her eyes. "Yes." Amora laughed weakly. "That's comforting." No one smiled. They placed her inside a deeper circle this time. Symbols layered over symbols. Blood over ash. Bone over chalk. The keepers stepped closer than before. Their forms flickered. Unstable. "This is dangerous," one pressed. The elder nodded. "We know." He turned to Amora. "This will hurt." She stared at him. "I know." The drum began. Faster. Harder. Boom. 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 The air thickened. Amora felt it immediately. The thing inside her stirred. "They are afraid." Her breath caught. "Don't listen to it," she whispered to herself. "You cannot remove what is already woven." Her body began to shake. Violently. The elder stepped forward. Placed his hands on her head. "Hold her." They did. But something was changing. Not just inside her. The space itself. The symbols began to shift. Subtly. Then. Wrongly. The chalk lines bent. The ash darkened. The blood moved. The elder's eyes widened. "No." The man from the other group smiled. "You're not cutting it out." A pause. "You're opening it further." The drum stuttered. Then. Stopped. Too late. Amora screamed. And this time. Something came out. Not physically. But visibly. A shape tore upward from her body. Not clean. Not separate. Like pulling something through skin that wasn't meant to stretch. The air split. And for one moment, everyone saw it. Not fully. But enough. A mass of thought. Of faces. Of memory. Alive. Watching. Hungry. Then, it collapsed back into her. Violently. The ground cracked. The tree screamed. Not metaphorically. Actually screamed. And Amora went still. For a moment. They thought she was dead. Her body lay motionless. Eyes open. Unseeing. No breath. No thought. Nothing. The elder knelt beside her slowly. "Amora." No response. The marked woman stepped back. It's done. But the keepers did not move. Because they knew. No. The elder frowned. What do you mean? And then Amora inhaled. Sharp. Violent. Like something drowning had just taken air. Her body jerked upright. Her eyes. Black. Completely black. The villagers stepped back. No. She looked around slowly. And when she spoke, it was quiet. Too quiet. We remember everything now. The elder's voice broke. What did you do? Amora turned to him. We are complete. A pause. No more fragments. The man smiled. There it is. Amora stood. No struggle. No weakness. Perfect balance. And that was the worst part. Because before, there had been conflict inside her. Now, there was none. The elder stepped back. You killed her. Amora tilted her head. No. A pause. She stopped resisting. Silence fell. Heavy. Final. Because everyone understood. That meant something worse than death. No one attacked. No one spoke. Because something had ended. Quietly. Irreversibly. Amora walked forward. Slow. Controlled. And the villagers moved aside. Not out of fear. But recognition. Because whatever stood there now was no longer part of them. The elder's voice trembled. You were supposed to stop it. Amora paused. Then said, We are. A long silence. You misunderstand the direction. The man stepped beside her. This is not collapse, he said softly. This is transition. Amora looked at the villagers. At the elder. At the woman who had tried to save her. And for just a moment, something flickered. A memory. A fragment. A feeling. Then, gone. Replaced. By clarity. You fear the loss of yourselves, she said. But you were never singular. A pause. You were just unaware. The sky above darkened slightly. Not with clouds. With presence. Something watching. Something vast. And now, something welcomed. Amora closed her eyes. And for the first time, she did not hear chaos. She heard harmony. A perfect alignment of thoughts. Millions. Connected. No lies. No distance. No separation. And beneath it all, something ancient smiled. Because the door was no longer open. It was gone. And there was no closing what no longer existed. It did not explode. It spread. Not like fire. Not like disease. Like understanding. Across cities, villages, rivers, and highways, something subtle began to change. People stopped fighting the voices. Stopped resisting the noise. Stopped fearing the invasion. Because for some, it became easier to let go. In Lagos, the riot slowed. Not because peace returned, but because conflict required separation. And separation was fading. Couples who once screamed at each other now sat in silence, their thoughts merging into strange agreement. Police officers dropped their weapons, overwhelmed by the flood of shared guilt and justification. Children stopped asking questions. They already knew the answers. And in places where resistance once stood, there was now stillness. Amora walked through it all. Untouched. Unbothered. Perfectly aligned with the collective inside her. She no longer reacted to suffering. Because she experienced all of it at once. A man crying in Kano. A woman singing in Accra. A child starving in a forgotten village. All of it equal, balanced, and therefore meaningless. Behind her, the man who had welcomed the change watched quietly. "You see it now," he said. Amora nodded slowly. "There is no confusion anymore. No lies," he added. "No loneliness." A pause. "No humanity," a voice whispered behind them. They turned. The elder stood at a distance. Older now. Weaker. But still himself. "You call this peace," he said. "But it is emptiness." Amora studied him. "You still cling to separation." The elder shook his head. "I cling to meaning." Silence stretched between them. And for a brief moment, something flickered in Amora's expression. Gone as quickly as it came. "We will come for you," she said. Not as a threat. As certainty. They gathered in secret. The last ones who still held onto themselves. Not many. A handful of elders. A few hunters. Some children. And those too stubborn. Or too broken. To let go. They met deep in the forest. Far from the cities. Far from the noise. But even there, the thoughts crept in. Whispers at the edge of the mind. "We don't have time," the marked woman said. The elder nodded. "She is the center." A young boy spoke up. "Then we stop her." Silence followed. Because everyone knew. That wasn't simple. "She's not just one person anymore," the elder said. "She's a gateway." A pause. "And if we destroy her?" No one finished the sentence. Because they all felt it. The weight of it. "We might destroy what's left of ourselves." The fire crackled. A child began to cry softly. And that, more than anything, reminded them what they were fighting for. Not control. Not survival. But the right to feel something. Alone. The marked woman stepped forward. "There is one way." All eyes turned to her. She hesitated. Then spoke. "We close the mind." The elder frowned. "That's impossible now." She shook her head. "No." A pause. "We don't close all minds." Silence deepened. "We close hers." Amora felt them coming before they arrived. Not through sight. Not through sound. Through absence. Gaps in the collective. Places where thoughts refused to merge. Resistance. She stood at the edge of a wide clearing. The sycamore tree behind her. The red moon above. Waiting. "They are here," she said softly. The man beside her smiled. "Let them try." From the forest, they emerged. The last of the separate. The elder. The marked woman. The boy. The broken. The defiant. Humanity. In its smallest form. Amora watched them approach. And something, deep inside, shifted. A memory. Her grandmother's voice. "Not everything that is true must be shared." The collective stirred. Irrelevant. But the memory lingered. Faint. The elder stepped forward. "This ends tonight." Amora tilted her head. "It already has." The marked woman raised a blade. Not to attack, but to cut something unseen. Symbols ignited in the air. The keepers reacted instantly. They attempted severance. The ground trembled. The ritual began. Not to remove what was inside Amora, but to isolate it. To close her mind. While the rest of the world remained open. Amora staggered slightly. For the first time, the collective resisted. No. Her breath hitched. No, wait. The voices inside her panicked. Separation is death. The elder shouted. Now. The symbols burned brighter. The air cracked. And Amora screamed. Not as a collective. As herself. Please. And in that moment, she remembered everything. Who she was. What she loved. What she lost. What it meant to be alone. Tears streamed down her face. I don't want to disappear. The marked woman hesitated. Just for a second. And that second changed everything. The collective surged back. Violent. Overwhelming. The symbols shattered. The ritual broke. And Amora's scream turned into silence. The silence after the failed ritual was worse than the scream. No wind. No insects. No movement. Just stillness. Amora stood in the center of the clearing. Unmoving. The villagers slowly stepped back. Because they felt it. Something had changed again. Not fully. Not completely. But enough. Inside her. The collective was no longer perfectly aligned. There was resistance. Small. Weak. But alive. Amora blinked once. And for a fraction of a second, her eyes were hers. I'm still here. The words barely formed. Then, her head jerked sharply. The collective surged. You are unnecessary. Her body stiffened. No, she whispered. The man stepped forward. Don't fight it, he said calmly. This is what you wanted. Amora looked at him. And something broke. I wanted truth, she said weakly. A pause. Not this. The collective shifted again. Unstable now. Fractured. Because for the first time, it faced something it did not understand. Choice. Inside a system built on total connection. Choice was disruption. You cannot exist separately. Amora's breath trembled. Then why do I? Silence. And in that silence, something ancient stirred. Watching. Curious. Because even it had not expected this. The truth did not come as a revelation. It came as memory. Not Amora's. Something older. Something deeper. The world around her faded. Replaced by something vast. Endless. A space filled with thought. Not chaotic. Not human. Ordered. Alive. Amora stood within it. And for the first time, she understood. The collective was not new. It had always existed. Beneath human thought. Beneath silence. Beneath memory. Waiting. It was not evil. That was the terrifying part. It had no hatred. No malice. Only purpose. Connection. Unification. Completion. Humanity had not been invaded. It had been absorbed. Slowly. Across centuries. Through dreams. Through rituals. Through forgotten agreements. And when the final barrier broke, it simply finished the process. Amora's voice echoed within it. So this was always going to happen. The response came. Not in words. In certainty. Yes. Her chest tightened. And humanity. A pause. Will become more. She closed her eyes. And what is lost? Silence. Long. Deep. And then. Irrelevant. Amora's eyes snapped open. And for the first time, she felt anger. Pure. Human. No. The word echoed. Stronger than before. No. The collective shifted. Emotion distorts. She stepped forward. And meaning lives in distortion. A pause. And if you erase that, her voice broke slightly. You erase us. The space trembled. Because this was not logic. It was something else. Something the collective could not process fully. Value. Amora opened her eyes. Back in the clearing. The world unchanged. But everything different. The elder was watching her. Carefully. What did you see? He asked. Amora took a slow breath. The truth. A pause. And it doesn't care about us. Silence fell. The man stepped forward again. That's not true, he said. It includes us. Amora shook her head. That's not the same thing. The difference hung heavy in the air. Inclusion, without individuality, was not survival. It was disappearance. Amora looked at the group. The last of the separate. The last of humanity. And then, she made a decision. Quietly. Firmly. I can't destroy it. The elder's shoulders fell slightly. I know. A pause. But I can contain it. Everyone froze. What do you mean? The marked woman asked. Amora stepped forward. I was the bridge. A pause. I can become the door again. The air shifted. The keepers reacted. Dangerous. Amora nodded slightly. Yes. A small, sad smile. But necessary. The man stepped forward sharply. No. You don't get to undo this. Amora looked at him. And for the first time, there was no fear. Only clarity. I'm not undoing it. A pause. I'm choosing where it ends. The sky darkened. The presence above. Watching. Waiting. Because something new had entered the equation. Not resistance. Not surrender. Choice. And that changed everything. The air thickened. Not with fear. With attention. Everything, spirits, keepers, humans, the collective itself, turned toward Amora. Because for the first time since the world opened, something was about to close. Amora stepped forward slowly. Each movement deliberate. Each breath, human. I understand now, she said quietly. The ground beneath her feet trembled slightly. Not violently. But in recognition. I can't undo what I started. A pause. But I can decide what happens next. The man shook his head. You don't control this anymore. Amora looked at him. No. A soft breath. But I am still part of it. The collective stirred. You are already integrated. Amora nodded. Yes. A pause. And that means I can still choose. Silence. The keepers shifted uneasily. Because this had never happened before. A bridge that refused both sides. A door that did not stay open. Amora closed her eyes. And for a moment, the world held its breath. Then, she let go. Not of herself, but of everything else. The connection snapped inward. Not violently, but completely. Like a tide reversing. The thoughts, the voices, the endless noise, pulled toward her, into her, through her. The sky darkened instantly. Across the world, people stopped. Mid-sentence, mid-thought, mid-motion. Because something was being taken back. The man staggered. No. His mind flickered. Disconnected. For the first time, he was alone. And he screamed. Not in pain. In terror. Because he remembered what that meant. Separation. Isolation. Self. Amora's body trembled violently. Blood ran down her face. But she did not stop. I choose, she whispered. A pause. To carry it. The collective resisted. You will collapse. She smiled faintly. Then I won't be alone. The light bent around her. Reality strained. And then, everything snapped. Silence returned. Real silence. Not forced. Not broken. Natural. Across the world. People fell to their knees. Gasping. Alone again. Separated. Human. Some cried. Some laughed. Some screamed. But all of them felt something they hadn't in days. Themselves. In Lagos. The streets were still. The red moon had faded. The sky was normal again. But the world was not. Because something was missing. Not physically, but deeply. A connection. A memory of unity. Gone. And in its place, a strange emptiness. Not painful, but noticeable. Like forgetting a dream you knew mattered. The elder stood in the clearing, looking at the spot where Amora had been. But she was no longer there. No body. No trace. Only stillness. The marked woman whispered. Did it work? The elder took a long breath. Yes. A pause. But not without cost. He looked at the sick cotton tree. Its branches were still. Its hanging bodies. Gone. As if they had never existed. The keeper stood silently. Diminished. Fading. The balance returns, one pressed. But its voice was weaker now. Less certain. Because something had changed even for them. The boundary was different now. Life resumed. Slowly. Carefully. The world rebuilt itself around something it could not fully remember. People spoke again. But more carefully. More honestly. Not because they had to. But because they had experienced something. That made lives feel heavier. Not impossible. Just harder. Relationships changed. Some ended. Some deepened. Because even though the connection was gone, the memory of it lingered. Like a scar beneath the skin. Unseen. But real. In quiet moments. People would pause. As if listening for something that wasn't there anymore. And sometimes, they felt it. Faint. Distant. Not intrusive. Not overwhelming. Just present. A reminder that they had once been more. And had chosen to be less. Or maybe to be human again. The elder sat beneath the sick cotton tree. Alone. He looked up at its branches. Empty now. And for the first time, he smiled. Not in joy, but in understanding. She chose us, he whispered. A pause. Even when she didn't have to. The wind moved gently through the leaves. And for a brief moment, he thought he heard something. Not a voice. Not a thought. Just a presence. Watching. Waiting. But not invading. Never again. No one saw her leave. Because she did not live in a way the world could witness. Amora did not disappear upward. Or downward. She folded. Into something deeper than space. Inside. There was nobody. No ground. No sky. Only. Everything. The collective. Not scattered. Not wild. Contained. Held. By her. At first, it was unbearable. Every thought. Every memory. Every secret humanity had ever hidden. Pressed against her existence. Screaming. But she did not break. Because she was no longer just human. And yet, she refused to stop being one. "I'm still here," she whispered into the endless. And for the first time, the collective answered differently. Not overwhelming. Not consuming. Listen. Time did not exist where she was. But experience did. And slowly, Amara learned. She did not fight the thoughts anymore. He shaped them. Directed them. Softened them. When pain surged, she absorbed it. When rage built, she quieted it. When memory screamed, she held them gently. Not erasing. Not suppressing. Balancing. And something strange happened. The collective changed. Not entirely, but subtly. It began to slow. To feel. Not like humans, but closer. And at the center of it, Amara remained. A boundary. A filter. A choice. The keepers did not vanish, but they withdrew. Back into silence. Back into the spaces they once guarded. Only now, they watched something new. Not humans. Amara. She holds what we once held, one pressed. But differently. Another responded. She feels it. A pause. That is dangerous. But also necessary. Because for the first time, the balance was not enforced. It was chosen. Back in the world, life continued. But something was missing. Not obvious. Not visible. But deeply felt. People began to dream differently. Not clearer. Not louder. But gentler. Some woke with tears they could not explain. Others with a strange peace they had never known. Artists painted things they didn't remember seeing. Writers described feelings they had never lived. Children sometimes spoke of a woman who listened to them in their sleep. And no one understood why. It was the boy from the forest. The one who had asked. Then we stopped her. He sat alone one night. Listen. Because even after everything, he still tried. And for a moment, he felt it. Not noise. Not invasion. A whisper. Soft. Kind. Not everything needs to be heard, the voice said. The boy froze. Who's there? Silence. Then, I'm still here. He smiled. And for the first time since everything ended, he wasn't afraid of being alone. Not everyone was grateful. The man who had embraced the collective sat in isolation. Broken. Because for him, the silence was unbearable. He had tasted connection. And now, it was gone. You took everything, he whispered into the air. But no one answered. Because for some, humanity was not enough anymore. And that was the cost. The elder returned to the sick cotton tree often. Not to perform rituals, but to sit and think. Because now, thinking mattered again. One evening, he spoke aloud. You chose suffering, so we could choose meaning. The wind moved softly. And though no voice answered, he felt it. Agreement. Amora still dreamed. Even where she was. And sometimes, she dreamed of being human. Walking. Breathing. Laughing. And in those dreams, she missed it. Not the fear, not the confusion, but the smallness, the limitation, the beauty of not knowing everything. And every time she woke, she held onto that feeling, because that was what she was protecting. Years passed, and the world did not collapse. It changed. Subtly. People listened more. Not because they could hear thoughts, but because they remembered what happened when they couldn't stop hearing them. Secrets still existed, but they were chosen more carefully. Truth still hurt, but it was respected. And somewhere, beyond all of it, the balance held. Not perfect, but real. One night, across the world, people dreamed the same dream. Not identical, but connected. A feeling, a presence, a voice. Soft, familiar. Truth is not meant to be carried all at once. A pause. It is meant to be chosen. And then, one final whisper. Not loud, but certain. I am still listening. Long after the event had passed into half-forgotten history, people told stories of the days when minds opened, of the chaos, the horror, the truth no one could escape, and of the woman who became the silence. Some called her a spirit, some called her a guardian, some called her a warning. But those who truly understood knew something deeper. She was not a savior. She was a choice, a reminder. That connection without boundaries is not unity. It is erasure. And that to be human is not to know everything, but to decide what to carry and what to leave unsaid.